What's going on, kings and queens? Thanks for joining me again on Keeping It Copacetic. Please like and subscribe. I really need that support. Thank you so much. It's been a tough week, still in the middle of the weekend, enjoying it, wanting it to slow down so much because we need all that time to relax. For those of us that have the weekends off, it's time for us to kick back, relax, renew, refresh, get in the bathtub, soak in some Epsom salts. That's what I need right now from a hard week on my feet all day with these kids. And it's just time to take a moment, relax, get something cool to drink. Put your feet up, get in the bed, get on the couch, get on the floor, wherever you can need to get in order to relax and unwind. For those of you who are driving, if you're commuting, just stay alert, keep your eyes on the road, and just enjoy the moment of just kicking back and relaxing, listening to Shortcut. So before we go on to chapter 8, let's do a short recap on chapter 7. In chapter 7, once the deal was signed, Ernest was thinking he could kind of push things away, kind of pull back from the relationship that Eva wanted with him a little bit and just kind of focus on the business. He wanted to keep it professional. He wanted to take his mom's advice, kind of take the advice from Vince. He knows it's legit. He just wants to go on. He doesn't want to take any chances of Rochelle getting on his back. He just wants to do business. He just wants to be successful. He just wants to grow his gentleman's spa. But Eva's not having it. Eva's not having it. She wants what she wants, and she is not going to let it go. So she invites him to her office. He goes there to sign the papers, and after the papers are signed, Eva lets him know there are some strings attached to this deal. If you don't like it, then there's no deal. And so Ernest, wanting to keep the Gulch, even though they had a signed contract, he could still lose that site. So he went on ahead, did what he had to do, or what should I say, what he felt he had to do, and handle that business that Eva needed handled. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into chapter 8. The next morning, Ernest had a notification and a text waiting in his phone. The notification was for a deposit of $450,000 in his new business account. The text had a photo of a lease agreement for the Gulch property on 12th Avenue to Ernest Shaw and Hamilton Realty. That joint lease was the bad spot on an otherwise perfect contract. He wanted to call his mama, Vince, and Rochelle to share his news, but something told him to wait. He wasn't prepared to answer all the questions that were sure to follow. Plus, in his own mind, it was all a little too new to trust. He decided to keep it all under wraps until he had something more tangible to show them. When he arrived at the barbershop, he barely said hello, heading straight into his office to get down to business. His first call was to the management company of the property to arrange for the keys to be delivered to him at King Cut. The next thing on his list was the barber chairs. He got online and ordered 3 of the top-of-the-line Constantine antique barber chairs and barber stations. He was partial to red, but he didn't have the money to redecorate the interior of his space, so he settled for black. He ordered an assortment of mirrors, storage closets, and tons of fresh towels. He ordered 2 manicure pedicure stations, a massage table, and 2 massage chairs. He decided to hold off on the exercise equipment until he organized the space. He made an appointment with a plumbing company that would install the sinks where he needed them and build the steam room. Preferably, he would have wanted to save the money of hiring an interior decorator, but he didn't have the time to creatively bring it all together himself while he worked. He thought about the duo of decorators who had done Vince's house. He liked their contemporary style. He looked up their number and scheduled an appointment with them, explaining that time was of the essence. Fortunately, the plumbing company and the decorators agreed to meet him at his location on Thursday morning. He was about to order cards and stationery when he heard his name. "Hey, Ernest," Leon called. "Noah's out here." "I'm coming," Ernest shouted back. "What you got going on back in there?" Jeff asked when he finally came out of his office. "You've been back there all morning, and now you coming out with a smile on your face." "I need to check and see if he's got somebody tucked back in there," Andrea said jokingly but half serious. "What's up, my man?" Ernest said to Noah, ignoring their remarks. "It's all good," Noah said, getting in his chair. "Watch out, Noah," Jeff said. "Make sure he's washed his hands." "What is y'all's problem?" Ernest said, playing it off. Why can't a man have a smile on his face without you all getting all suspicious? It's all right with me, Noah said, enjoying the humor. Do what you gotta do, man. I want to relax when he shaves me. That way I don't have to worry about getting cut. Talk to the man, Ernest said with a grin. Whatever you got back in there, I need some of it, Leon said, joining in their teasing. I can't hardly stand. My gout is acting up again. Y'all need to stop. There ain't nothing in my office, no woman, nothing to drink, and nothing to smoke, Ernest said, snapping the drape in the air before he put it around Noah's neck. Then Rochelle must have put it on you last night, Jeff said, chuckling. Ernest didn't comment, and the smile dropped off his face as he thought about what had went down with Eva after he signed those papers. He thought that once the deal was closed, he could distance himself from her, but after last night, he wasn't so sure. Leon noticed how his mood changed and quickly came to his defense. Get out of the man's business and get some of your own, Leon said, scolding Jeff. If you don't have anything better to do, why don't you go out and get us some lunch, Andrea said to Jeff, hearing the bell ring and seeing her next client come in. I'm hungry. For more than a month, Ernest had been working his fingers, feet, and ass to the bone between holding down his clients at King Cut, meeting with contractors, meeting with delivery people, and paying bills. Every evening when he got home, he fell into bed, sometimes too exhausted to even eat. He barely had enough energy to read a book to EJ before he went to sleep. Rochelle's overactive imagination was starting to work overtime. She saw Ernest was going out of the house early and coming home late and tired. She noticed that on some days he was dressed a little too nice just for work. She knew something was up and she wasn't about to be nobody's fool again. On the morning of his mama's first treatment on the dialysis machine, she put a sippy cup with milk and a small bowl of dry Cheerios in EJ's crib to keep him occupied while she went to confront Ernest. He was eating some toast with his coffee in the kitchen. Who are you messing with, Ernest? She demanded, standing in front of him with her hand perched on her hips. I don't feel like going there with you today, he said, dreading each word he knew would fly out of her mouth. He had heard them all before, too many times, in fact. I'm not crazy. I know when something's up with you. Look, I got to go to the clinic with my mom in a few. We can talk about this when I get back, he said, pushing his plate away and getting up from the table. Believe that, Ernest. We are going to talk about it, she hollered at his back as he hurried out the door. Frustrated as hell, she stomped into the living room and called one of her girls to vent. Sheila had arranged transportation with the Metro Transit Authority for an access ride van to take her back and forth to her treatment, so Ernest drove directly to the dialysis clinic. He didn't know what to expect when he got there. He didn't think he could handle it if his mama was broken down. She was the strongest person he had ever known. I'm looking for Sheila Shaw, he told the receptionist right inside the entrance. Hold on for a sec, she said, picking up the phone. A minute later, a chubby white woman with dark curly hair, dressed in flowered scrubs, came through a door to the right of the information desk. Good morning, she said without making eye contact. Come on back. Ernest followed her down a hallway to the area where the renal patients were being treated. Grab a chair over there, the woman in scrubs told him, waving a finger at the wall. The dialysis patients were all spaced evenly in a row like the stations he trained on back at Barber College. He saw his mama at the end of the line with a blanket over her legs reading a magazine. He made his way across the room without glancing at any of the other patients who were connected to the machines. Hey, baby, she said, smiling when she saw him. How you doing, Mama? He asked, placing the folding chair on the other side of her. It's not a walk in the park, but I'm not complaining, she said with a sigh. Are you cold? He asked, nodding towards the cover on her legs. The air conditioning is on too high for my taste, she said. How have you been? I haven't seen you in a few days. I'm great, Mama. I applied for the loan I needed to open up a new spot, and I got it. That's beautiful, son, she said, letting go of her reservations and hoping for the best. Where's it going to be? I got to come see it. It's 317 12th Avenue South in the Gulch. It's going to be called In Earnest. Sheila wanted to clap her hands, except she couldn't with the left one connected to the pump. Instead, she slapped her thigh in excitement. I'm so proud of you, Ernest. I can't even say. Once things are up and running like I want them to, it's going to change things for us. I'm going to move you out of the duplex whether you like it or not. All right, child, we'll see, she said happily. I hope we get to have that argument. Count on it, Mama, he said, wishing they were both somewhere else. They sat in silence for a minute. But the sound of the dialysis machine churning his mama's life's blood and the noise of the motor humming were unnerving for Ernest. He couldn't stand the thought of the sight of his mama being hooked up to this contraption. You feeling okay while all of this is going on? He asked, pointing towards the machine. Not too bad. The worst thing is they want me to cut out my cold drinks. They say the brown color has phosphorus in it, which isn't good for me. They say I can drink ginger ale or Sprite. You gotta listen to them, Mama. You need to take care of yourself until you get a transplant. If you don't, they're gonna take your name off the list. I don't know about all that, she said, dismissing the idea. What she really wanted to talk about was if he had taken her advice. By the way, what happened to that friend of yours who wanted to start him a business too, and the woman who was plaguing him? Things worked out for him. She came through with the money and the loan was all legit. Did he have to pay her some more dues? She asked, eyeing him closely. Ernest looked down at his hands. She got him for one more, but that's the end of it. He's not going to get tricked up with her. He's got his business to pull together. I sure hope he doesn't, she said, looking back down at her magazine. Sheila knew how these hussies were when they got a taste of a younger man. They couldn't get enough. She said a silent prayer for her boy. She was too sick and too tired to have to go and kick some old woman's ass over her child. It was an hour before lunch when Ernest got to the shop. Jeff was outside smoking a cigarette and face talking with someone on his phone. He gave Ernest some dap on his way in. Leon was doing some cleanup at his station, and Andrea was working on two of her older regulars from the church. One was under the dryer while she was setting the other's hair on small rollers. How'd your mama do? She asked, pausing with the roller only halfway on. I think she did okay, but you know how she is, Ernest said with a touch of sadness. She wouldn't let me know if she was in pain or uncomfortable anyway. I know that's right, but I don't think she could hide it if the treatment was really bothering her, Leon said, trying to ease his mind. I hope you're right, Leon, Ernest sighed as he put on his smock. Anyway, I need to holler at you in the back for a minute. Sure thing, man. What's up? Leon asked, trailing him to his office in the back. Ernest sat down in his chair and took a deep breath while Leon sat in front of him. I'm ready to switch things up in my life, Ernest said sincerely. I've got some plans in motion that I need to tell you about. It's about time, E. I knew something was going on. You've been out of pocket here for a couple of months now. Leon, we go a long way back. You know how it was. Back in the day, I cut hair for weed, pussy, and a hot plate of chicken for lunch. You were the one who gave me a spot to do my thing, and I'm grateful for that. From there, I was able to open up this place. It's been all good, but I'm ready to take my game to another level and make some serious money. Leon leaned forward in the chair. So what's on your mind? I'm opening up another shop. It's completely upscale over in the gulch. Now that's what I'm talking about, Leon said, holding out his hand for a low five. How soon are you talking about? He said, getting energized. A month or two at the most. Damn, that's quick. Leon, I've been waiting for this chance for a long time. I'm ready to make that move with you, man. Ernest inhaled before he spoke. I wish you could, man. I really do. I could surely use your help, but I need you here to run this place. You're the only one I can trust to do that. If you don't, I'll have to shut it down. Wow, that's deep, Leon said, sobering up. I don't know what to say, E. This is a lot to digest. I know. It seems like this was all of a sudden, but it's been on my mind for a while. I need to come up, man. I couldn't wait any longer. Now that my mama's on dialysis, she won't be able to work. I've got to hold her down and take care of my family. I feel you, Leon said, nodding up and down. I'm happy for you, man. I got your back here. You don't have to worry about the shop. Thanks, man, Ernest said. Now I got to tell the rest of the crew. Leon patted him on the back as they walked back out to their workstations. He knew Jeff and Andrea would have a lot more to say about the news than Leon did. Just as he was about to speak, the door was snatched open and the bell jangled fast and loud. Eva was standing there in a fiery red dress and leopard pumps, infuriated, with her chest heaving like the top of a boiling pot, getting ready to spill over. Ernest had been dodging her calls and canceling after she set up several times for them to meet. He was trying to run one business and get another up and running, and he didn't need the hassle of catering to her. Even still, he didn't think she would have the nerve to come to his place of work and call him out. I thought we had an understanding, she said indignantly. We have a legal agreement, Ernest responded. The whole shop went quiet. They were all watching and listening to the interaction between Eva and Ernest like it was the final episode of Empire. I don't take kindly to being treated like this, Eva said with her temper flaring. This is my place of business where I make my living, Ernest said, staying composed. You need to respect that. I don't have a problem with any of that as long as you respect me, Eva snapped. Don't forget who made all of your plans possible. When I call, you answer. Ernest lost his patience with her tirade. Now, how do you figure that? He asked irately. Oh, you're not stupid, Eva fired back. After a few more grunts and whistles among the folks in the shop, intrigued by the show, Ernest took her by the arm and pulled her out of the door. I don't know what's going on inside that head of yours, but you're asking for trouble, he hissed in her ear. Meet me at the house tonight, she said in a sweet voice. I didn't mean to make a scene. Her whole demeanor had changed. Ernest looked at her like she was psycho. I'm done with this, he said, waving his hand. I got work to do. I just need to see you again, she said, pulling on his smock. I don't know why I'm so crazy about you. Meet me tonight whenever you're finished. I'm married, Eva. I can't see you whenever you feel like it. It's not that kind of party. Plus, I told you before that my mother is sick. I have to check on her when I get done here. Eva knew she had gone too far. She had never acted like this before. Her intention wasn't to embarrass him or herself. She was acting like a drug addict who needed a fix. She was definitely out of control. Forgive me. I'm sorry about your mother, Eva said, pulling herself back together. I hope she feels better. Ernest turned around, went back in the shop, and walked through the hush rooms into his office and shut the door. Leon took his clients for the rest of the afternoon while he placed some ads for the new shop and checked Craigslist for recruits to work at the spa. When the last client of the day was cut and the shop door was locked, Leon knocked on the door and came in. You might as well drop the bomb while you got 'em dazed, Leon said. Ernest would have preferred to talk to Rochelle first, but after Eva's performance, he didn't have much choice. He walked out to the front where Jeff and Andrea were sitting in their chairs waiting to hear what had led up to the episode. So it's like that, Andrea said, shaking her head. I'm going to skip to the bottom line and be straight up with y'all, Ernest said. I'm opening up another shop in Midtown. I don't know if you all remember the woman who came in earlier. She's a real estate agent who helped me find the location. That's a bet, Jeff said. When do we pack it up and make that move? I'm going alone. It's going to be more than a barbershop. It's a gentleman's spa. So what are you saying, Jeff said? We not good enough to work there? It's a whole different clientele, Ernest explained. So you chasing the white dollar now? Andrea asked, still mad. Ernest sat down in his chair. Dollars aren't white or black. They're green. Jeff shook his head. Sounds like you being a sellout, man. I don't have nothing to prove to anybody out here. I've been on this street for more than 10 years. It's just time for me to move on. My leaving doesn't have to affect y'all. Come to work and do your thing like you usually do. Leon is going to manage this place for me. Why him? He's past his prime, Jeff argued. I could do that better for you. Come on, Jeff. You're not serious, Ernest said. You haven't even decided if you want to hustle or cut hair. That hit a nerve and Jeff jumped out of his chair. Who said I have to choose? I can do both. All of it's a hustle. I can't argue with that, Ernest said. Everybody in this room is grown and responsible for themselves. We all have to eat. I'm not standing in nobody's way. I started at the same place where you and Andrea are now. Whatever happened to reaching down and pulling a brother or a sister up? Andrea asked, feeling let down. You're not ready, Andrea, Ernest said to her. You treat your livelihood like a hobby. You only want to work 3 or 4 days out of the week, and you treat your clients like shit. None of them should have to spend the whole day with you just to get their hair done. I'm not going to run my new place like that. It'll be purely professional. His comments made Andrea's hurt turn to anger. I thought we were all family in here, but you only care about yourself, Andrea said snidely. Ernest shook his head in disagreement. Truth be told, if I didn't care about you too, I would take Leon with me and shut this place down in a heartbeat. That's cold-blooded, Jeff said. That's the problem with our people, Ernest said in his defense. We're always thinking somebody owes us something. I follow James Brown philosophy. I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door. I get it myself. Jeff chuckled. Okay. Are you sure you got it for yourself, or did that bitch who was in here earlier get it for you? Speak some truth, Andrea said, egging him on. I don't get into anybody's business in here, Ernest said. I expect the same thing in return. Whew. That was chapter 8. Things are getting hot in the shop, and things are about to get hot at the house. I want to thank you all again for joining me on Keeping It Copacetic. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'd love to see your comments on the book Shortcut, which is available on Amazon. You can get it ebook or in print. Follow along with me while I'm reading, and I will see you next time for chapter 9. Thanks again, and be safe.